Hey friends, did you see that activism from Canterbury yesterday? I really enjoyed myself, and yeah, it was great to be back out there, and it was great to be talking in English. I mean, be able to communicate with English people. Uh, it made it flow a whole lot better. Um, I felt at the end, I wish it could have gone on for a few more hours, but it was getting late, and I'd had a late start. A few days before, I was in a park with Alexander. Hello.
We've all got morning eyes because it
Yeah,
is quite early
it
in
is
the
very
morning.
early in the morning. We're on our last day in this house. We've been lodging in our daughter's university house for the last week while she's been away, and they all come back from their tour today. So we're on the move again. It's a little unsettling for us to be without a home at the moment. But I was in this park playing with Alexander and got to talk to this mum the other day about various health issues that her son might be battling with, and she might be battling with. And Andrew said she saw me talking to this lady, and I seemed alive.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's been clear for a while for me anyway, and Dave, because obviously he's in the moment. But when he's doing, let's not say activism because it's just talking to other human beings, really. When he's sharing his knowledge, or sharing his love, or sharing his energy, there's a light that goes on for Dave, and it's become very clear that this is what Dave should be doing more of. I think on the tour it was apparent that he was good at what he did when it came to the flat earth anyway. But Dave's done so much research over the years and so much knowledge to give, and we're learning all the time. And
Well, you tend to forget some of it because I do anyway. I realized last night when I was talking this morning and reflecting on yesterday's activism, there's so many sort of talking points that I overlooked because it's you get rusty and there's so much information that you're hanging on to.
Well, it also depends on the group of people you're talking to and what they want to talk about. Because obviously, like the lady in the park, you were talking about health related stuff. You weren't
Didn't get to flat Earth.
No, and there's so much to share with people. Most importantly, just a connection, because it's something else has become very apparent to Dave and I is that we're this one consciousness, but yet we're so divided, so separate, and we don't even look at each other. We all go to these little boxes and close our doors, and then when we're out and about, not everyone, to be fair, there are people who still who'll still stop and say hello, especially if you've got a child and a dog. They tend to want to talk about the dog more than anything else. But it's about sharing that time, that energy with people too, and people respond actually once you get past that sort of reserved exterior that we've all developed.
Well, I mean, I've known for some time now that I can connect with people well, and I saw it when I started doing the flat Earth stuff in Speaker's Corner that that I have a particular skill set that I I felt as I went along this journey of divorcing from the mainstream and from trying to focus on this truth, and then more so when I got on the first Globe Live tour with Harry and Jason back in 2018, that I knew that I should be part of the 2019 tour, and I think that the evidence speaks for itself that I am without a doubt one of the better speakers that are out there on this subject, particularly in the public square. it's one thing to sit in front of a camera and put a piece together, but it's something else to as I did, last night, jostle with these youngsters. They were drunk, some of them, and sometimes it's belligerent men or whatever people who you need to try and break through and get a message to. And I'm particularly well suited to that. And I think why we decided to do this video this morning is because I guess I'm trying to put an appeal out to you, to the community at large, to say, hey, look, if we're serious about this, if we realize the divine significance of this information, of what we're trying to achieve here, then I'm calling on you to try and help in some way, to help us continue this, because I can assure you I've wanted to. We've been in Canterbury 5 or 6 days now, or a week, and I've wanted to go out every day, but the strain on me, on us, of this drip poison of you have no home, you don't know where you're going next, you don't know where the next $20 is coming from. Thank you for those people who have given us some money lately, because it is those 20s and 50s that have put food on our table. But the uncertainty of it all is really, really weakening, and it has prevented me, has stopped me from going out. And I was like, I have to go yesterday, because it was our last full day in Canterbury, and I really didn't want to miss the opportunity to have gone out and done a little bit of activism. And I said to Andrew this morning, I'm sorry I haven't been able to go out every day, because it demonstrates to me, and of course to you who's watching, that there is there's a real value in it. And, people may have heard of flat Earth, but until they actually get to speak to someone who can speak authoritatively, can talk authoritatively on it, they ridicule it, like they've been trained to.
It's also the truths, if some of those truths are, or getting people to even just stop and question things rather than just accept things on face value. I mean, essentially that's what you want, isn't it? You want people to stop just consuming what we're fed and go, hold a second, let me stop and think about that. Let me stop and question that. And I think I wanted to say about, Dave in particular, but both of us, that we've been on a bit of a journey in terms of our, of unpicking ourselves, and that's a weird way of putting it. But, I think the Dave has had to find the belief that or the knowing that this is something he's good at, and this is something that, he can go out there and do well, and do with passion, and do with purpose. But if he's to give his energy to that, and obviously he has home energies too that he needs to give, that we need to have some financial support to be able to do that. And this is essentially what this video is about, is saying, if he's to give his time to that, and obviously we know that means not just being on the street or out in public talking, it also means the after stuff of the videos and everything else.
Yeah.
So he's, the stress of the stresses that we've had have in a way got down to the core of, actually this is something that Dave needs to do and is good at doing. And
we say we're a family, in this flat Earth community, and I'm sure that, like me, many of you have lost a lot of your blood family along this way, and so those people that might have supported me before, my blood family, are nowhere to be seen. And the Flat Earth family is in some respects kind of all we have. So I guess it's only appropriate that we put out a call like this. I must add that there have been people who have made efforts, Robin, Rob, others who've made efforts to help us find somewhere to live. So it's not that there haven't been efforts made, but an example of an offer that did come was to a 6-week offer of a house over in Wales that was unfurnished. So it would have meant taking all of my gear out of storage, which I can't even afford to pay my storage. They're starting to charge me late payment fees because I can't even afford to pay the storage right now. But to take my stuff all out of storage and move it over to Wales for 6 weeks, it's just an unfeasible kind of thing. One other offer that came through was, in a place that's sort of slated for, part of it's being refurbished, and Andrea has got higher standards than I do, and she won't, and I respect this. She won't put Alexander and herself in a situation where she's living in a building site. So it's not like we haven't had any offers. I don't want to make out that it's that, but at the same time, we haven't found the right situation for us. We have said we are looking at some offers, some opportunities later in the year, but at this point in time, right now we're sort of we're not in the best shape to continue doing this stuff. But I would, for me, I knew this on tour. I felt this when I was on tour. It's like, this could be my job, this could be what I do, is that I'm 5 days a week, 6 days a week, out in the street talking to people, maybe doing press, whatever, just trying to generate interest and energy in this subject. But
but it's not just the subject, is it? It's so much greater than the subject. And I think,
but it's the divine story, really.
Yes, well, I think this year is an important,
the consciousness arising.
Well, and us coming together, and because we talk about division, we talk about the system dividing us, and all that kind of stuff, and so we have to unpick that. We have to slowly unpick that, and so it's about something way bigger. And I think that's why the family element, when we do the Trinities part, is equally as important, because it's about family, it's about community, it's about all that stuff. And so I'd like to just add, if you haven't checked out the Trinities, go and subscribe.
We have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, we have a second YouTube channel, the Trinities, which was our nickname given to us while we were on tour. And we hope for that to be about the background stuff that we do, stuff with Alexander, stuff with our spiritual path and growth. I'm hoping to talk a little bit about my inner child healing that I've been doing. And so there's that as well.
So it's a bit chicken and egg, I feel like. I know that yesterday getting out in the street generated a significant amount of, relatively speaking, a significant amount of interest in my work again. And, when we were on tour, we were offered quite a lot of support. Not sure where that went to after the tour, but I think that if I feel like if we ask for help in this way, that perhaps we might get the support we need to give us that foundation that we can build from. That's really all we need. We don't need an awful lot, but everybody needs a home.
Yeah, we need the grounding. I think that the grounding of a home you know,
You know,
is so important, especially when you have children. You know, you can be a bit more transient when you're just an adult.
just on your own. But also,
But we've noticed Alexander responds really well to being settled. He talks about my home often, and you know, we want to provide that for him. You know, and it's a toss up. We've got to the point now. It's a toss up with Dave or myself going back to work full time to go and bring in some money so that we can, you know, we can live basically.
Well, I think at this point in time, I would need to do, you know, if I had a base, I would definitely be eager to continue doing certain, you know, some work, whether it be gardening or, you know, whatever required to bring in some additional cash. You know, I don't immediately foresee that this community has the wherewithal to generate enough so that I wouldn't need to do that. And of course, I like doing physical work anyway. So, you know,
I hope that you're out if we are lucky enough to have our own garden or green space, that we're out there growing anyway.
I would.
That we're out there growing anywhere, and you know, and we're hoping that this year brings, well, there's already offer of a few opportunities to get back to nature, get back to growing, get back to those things, which obviously Dave will show a little bit on Trinity 4, but where the Trinities come in, you know, where we show you a bit more of us trying to
Number one.
Live number one. Oh, little boy loves numbers.
Which we should all be getting back to nature a whole lot more. But
I mean,
you know, that's part of our journey.
This Dave and I were speaking about this yesterday. There's no doubt that the journey we've been on since we left our home, it has been one that was meant, and that one that has taught us lessons, that has been quite an emotional spiritual journey, and
quite emotional,
very emotional, and has certainly helped peel back some of the layers, so but we're brought to this day, and it's the 12th of the 1st, which you know, cosmic
alignment, or
cosmically is a big day. And you know, over the last couple of days, certainly since the little opportunity in the park to talk to that lady, more and more it's been clear that, you know, number two, yes.
Oh yeah.
That we have a job. We have a job. We just
we have
need
a role
the
to play.
energy exchange of some money, because unfortunately,
because wouldn't you, if you had the opportunity, want to step out of this system and do, you know, make, because, you know, I think one of the risks, I think, or the hazards of this situation is that we learn this incredible information and then we go back to sleep. We just carry on doing the drudge. We stick in the 9 to 5.
Number 3.
We stick in the 9 to 5 and
3 pigs.
The 3 Trinities, and we stick in the 9 to 5. And you know, I respect that we all have bills to pay and so on, and so leaving the job isn't feasible. My journey over the last 4 or 5 years has been to kind of divest from that, but with the faith and I trust that there was a reason for me to have been brought this information and to be put on this path, to be put on this journey. And I feel sincerely that that isn't so that I can simply get to the lowest ebb and then return to some 50-hour-a-week job of in the system.
Well, actually, I'd like to go a step further. I think it's actually been peeling back so that we get down to the really real raw experience of this journey, and that is what is our purpose here. You know, Dave and I have, when times have been at the cliff edge, have been like, I won't say the word just in case people are offended by it, but what are we doing? What are we doing? And it's we've questioned that, but it then allows you to find that authenticity, to find that realness, to find that rawness, to go to your ultimate soul purpose. And it's very clear that, very clear for me anyway, that Dave is good at this. He has a way of connecting with people. His articulation and his ability to share knowledge is
Brian Staveley put me on a pedestal alongside of Dave Murphy, allegedly Dave. So, and he's one of the leading kind of speakers in our community, out there, outside of the chat rooms and forums and so on, but actually in the public square. So I say that without ego. I don't have strength in some areas that other people do have, but this is where I am designed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, number 4.
Number 4.
I see, baby.
Yeah, number 4.
See, my love. So this is where I'm designed to be, and why I'm willing to kind of.
I think it's a little bit more just designed to be. I think the message, you have a message that is beyond the physical matter. And I think the message has to go beyond the physical matter. It has to. There's more, and you have that message to share.
I do, and I'm going to shed my kind of embarrassment or shame at kind of putting my hand out and saying, "Hey, can you help me?" But I don't know if you know that Russian Vids, someone who I followed before Flat Earth, and when he came to Flat Earth, I was like, damn, man, it really reinforced it. But now he interviewed Mark Sargent just the other day on his channel, and he wants to interview me too. So let me tell you that if Mark Sargent, who is out there with Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole and all these biggest names that there are, gets a slot on Russian Vids, and then RV would say, Dave, I'd like to talk to you too.
Number 5.
You got to know that this is not just me being fatuous and vacuous and self kind of.
This is where Dave has. Let me just intercept here. This is where Dave has been one of his hurdles is that he doesn't realize, and hasn't done for many years, and this is his journey to realizing that he's got one of the kindest hearts, one of the cleverest brains I've ever come across, and I know I'm slightly biased, but and a way with people, and I remember my sister saying many years ago, if only Dave could see what we could see. And this is Dave learning to see what we can see. So he tends to put other people on pedestals, and yet not himself. So this is the journey for him to trust that what he has to offer is valuable, and he's starting to realize that. And I think your donations will help him along with that, because this is a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to say, listen here guys, we need your support.
Yes, okay.
We need your support, but actually knowing Dave's value, or our value as the Trinities, that actually we are worth it, and that we believe that it's our purpose to be sharing.
Yeah. Alexander's demanding my attention, so we should probably wrap it up by saying,
by the way, that's Pebbles in the background.
Pebbles the dog. Well, so we have a PayPal in the name of Trinity for Man at gmail.com.
Obviously, put the link on the video.
I'll put the link below, and
We are looking at other platforms. So we've just got to kind of get a head around them. And obviously, while again you're moving around, and these people want addresses, we don't really want to use anybody else's address.
Oh, you mean like DLive and stuff like that?
No, Patreon or whatever.
Right.
And so we just got to figure that stuff out. But for now, we have the PayPal.
Yeah, the Patreon, I think, I've never really wanted to kind of go down that road, but it has like the potential to, I suppose, offer Patreons as such some more insights, because we do sort of certain kinds of videos, I suppose, that we could make for people. But anyway, that's down the line. Again, it's for us, we do need to kind of stabilize the ship. At the moment, we're sort of floating, living on sofas and borrowed time in terms of where we're able to crash. So
a little bit of grounding, a little bit of stability, so we can kind of move this along.
You see so many. I mean, this is not. But in the world today, you see so many homes that are vacant, that are sitting empty, and it's just crazy that we are in this situation. But it's the nature of the beast. So, I'm committed to being that guy, one of those guys who can get out there and make a huge difference to the trajectory of this, because we know that it can't be, it's being corralled and constrained within the kind of the aegis of the online thing. It's getting out there into the street that I think has a huge impact, and we know that from the Globe Light tours. And so I want to do that more. I want to do that. I would love to do that full time. I guess I'm putting that out there, and I'm putting it out there that we could do with your help to make that a reality. So I thank you for your time and your consideration.
And obviously feedback and questions and considerations are gratefully accepted or encouraged. While we're doing the video, just quickly at the end, I understand people have opinions on these kind of matters, and I would appreciate it if you want to express them, you express them with respect, because this is it's a difficult thing to do, and hopefully in time it'll feel less difficult.
Thanks, honey. Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the sense that I get often is that people are like, well, just go back to work. No, that's not. I don't mean my family who are fast asleep and think they live on a spinning water ball. I mean people who know that the earth is flat, who know that the entirety of the edifice of government and control is designed to rob us of our divinity. Those people still think in very sort of normie 3D terms. Well, you've still got to go and do the 9 to 5. Well, I respect that people still have bills to pay, and I'm not expecting everybody to say, well, I'm just going to throw it all in and go homeless. But I guess I'm saying to you that we can't all just go, yep, we see that it's been a deception, right, we're going to go back and just pretend and be good boys and stay in the old system and not make too much noise outside of our little tiny YouTube community or whatever. This is, if you saw my video yesterday, you realize that I'm exercised to go and aggravate the system and go and get people's attention despite the ridicule or despite the naysaying. So that's my kind of thing on that. I'm asking you to be courageous and do what you can to help us, to help this whole thing along. So I will, I guess, unless there's anything else, we've got you got the PayPal link.
No, and obviously the Trinities subscribe. We have 25 subscribers, which is wonderful.
On the Trinities,
yeah. It'd be nice to have more, and you know, if there's things that you would like us to talk about on there, then obviously let us know. You know, we hope to. Well, this is the thing, when you're so stressed, it's hard to have the headspace to sit down and
That's
do
what
videos.
the system likes. They
and
want you to
yeah,
be stressed. They want you to be under pressure.
to do videos, and or even to put yourself out there. It's you know, which is part of the reason Dave has not.
And shout out to all the other activists who are doing their work. There's a few of them now.
You know, so
good luck to you all.
We'd like to do more, and we'd like to share. For instance, people have been asking about the birth certificate thing. You know, we'd like to do a video on it, but it takes, you know, it takes a peace of mind to be able to sit down and do those kind of things. And hopefully in the coming weeks we'll get some grounding and be able to put some of that stuff out there. So subscribe to the Trinities. Subscribe to Trinity 4 if you're seeing this video for the first time. If you want to see more of us,
get involved, and share this out. I mean, you know, get this out on onto other platforms if you can. We don't mind you know, really. I've got to put the shame that we've been programmed with to kind of go, oh, you shouldn't be asking for help. You should just go back to work, or you know, and be a good slave and shut up. And you know, there's plenty of other people who are struggling. I think in this community there are other people who've taken a similar path and who found themselves in hard times and so on. And I am mindful of that. I'm thinking of you. If I know of you, I'm thinking of you.
Right now we can just send you our love. We don't have the moolah to share. If we did, we would. But we send you our love for anybody else who's finding things difficult. And I know astrologically there have been, you know, some energies around that have, you know, put people in situations or in feelings that have been quite tricky lately. So I want to send my love and support to those people too, because I know I've been feeling those things, and I hope to, as soon as I'm feeling a little bit better, talk a little bit more about that, because it's been transformative.
Yeah, this is not easy, and it's not designed to be easy. This is designed to do everything. The system is designed to stop you from ever achieving your highest good, and for us getting out there and changing the system. So I'm asking for you to help us, to help you, to change the system for the good, for the greater good, from us.
Well, I don't know about. Sorry, can I just disagree? I don't think it's about changing the system. I think it's about changing us. Be the change, and you know, we want supporting people while we go through it ourselves. You know, we are walking it, and we'd like to join hands with others who are trying to walk it too.
Fantastic. Well, that was a lovely message. We are the world. We are the people. There is only one humanity.